If you want to stop wasting time, then you need to know about the Pareto principle. Are you having a hard time getting something done, but you don't know where and when you're spinning your wheels? Whether you're at work or at home, the Pareto principle can help you get and keep the ball rolling. And I promise, it's really easy to remember. You've probably heard of the 80-20 rule, right? This concept says that in general, 80% of the results come from 20% of the actions. Well, this idea came from a philosopher and economist who was born in Italy in 1848, and his name was Vilfredo Federico Damaso Pareto. Legend has it, Pareto peeked at his pea plants one day and noticed that only 20% of the plants in the garden generated 80% of the healthy pea pods. Then he looked at all of Italy, and what do you know? 20% of the population owned 80% of the country's land. This magic little ratio kept popping up, and boom! Pareto's namesake principle was born. It's also known as law of the vital few. And here's the underlying lesson. Input does not always equal output. And the total won't always add up to 100, so don't get hung up on the exact numbers. Maybe 20% of your employees do 100% of the work, for instance. But here are some everyday examples of the Pareto principle in action. 20% of your home is where you spend 80% of your time. 20% of your apps account for 80% of your smartphone use. And you wear 20% of your wardrobe 80% of the time.
I can definitely relate to that one.
Same. Now, here's how you can actually use this principle. If you're a small business owner and see that only 20% of your customers contribute 80% of revenue, focus on satisfying those customers. If you're working on a project, then maybe instead of spending an hour drafting a paper you're not sure about, then instead spend 10 minutes thinking of ideas, then spend 50 minutes writing about the best one. Do what you've got to do, and you can make the Pareto principle work for you.